Oh, sorry. I was cooking over there, Pierce. I'm sorry.
I was like, "Where's James?" The thing came up, and I look over because the music stopped, and there's no James. I was ready
Uh,
to take it off if I had to.
as the countdown was ticking down, I was like, I need to fire off this cook right now and let it rip. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Let It Cook. Your on occasion, maybe soon to be weekly, behind the scenes with the team. Mostly with Pierce and sometimes with Burke and sometimes with me as well. This is a show that we started, oh geez, like I don't know, like what, 8, 9, 10 months ago, where
Yep.
basically we're going to show you all the crazy, amazing features that the team has been up to, which is awesome because there's just so much goodies happening like all the time. And we want to keep you up to date. And now, Pierce, it seems like the team is shipping even more than ever. Can you tell us a little bit? I'm going to share my tab over here. What is happening? Because there's been almost a weekly release, I think. What is up?
Yeah, I mean, the team is moving super fast, and we've been delivering, as always, a ton of features into insiders every single day. But then we got a lot of feedback of like, hey, I really love what's in insiders, but I can't use it at work. I'm not allowed to use stable versions, or I just prefer to use VS Code stable. Why do I have to wait, 30 days for this thing to make it to VS Code stable? And so, um, for the past while, we've been kind of shipping a version of a weekly update. Normally, it doesn't have features in it, and so as of yesterday was kind of our first attempt at this of shipping a stable kind of within the month of the typical VS Code stable releases. And we had some good stuff in there, and it was stuff that people really wanted from insiders into stable. So we'll see how it goes. Give us your feedback on what you think about the weekly releases. Like, not every week we'll have this jam-packed of stuff, but if we see things that we feel good about the engineering quality of in insiders and also people want in stable before the end of the month, we'll do our best to try and bring it to stable like mid-month.
That's awesome. Yeah, so, like, there's obviously a whole bunch of things, like, just, like, kinda, like people are probably used to these, like, here's 1091, 101, 1092. This is the January release, which comes out
Yep.
in February, as people may know. Well, this was today. No date stamp on it, Nick, but,
Yep.
it's I guess a release date. Oh, no, just no release date on this, just it came out. It's there, right? But there's also this insiders tab, boop, which is here too, which will show you the thing. So there's tons of things. Not everything in insiders is, like, in that release. Like you said, there's like a quality like gate type of thing happening, right?
Yeah, and I mean from an engineering standpoint as well, right? Like, you see, if you use insiders, the velocity of the features that go into that, it's hard to cherry pick things back to another branch with different, a different base, right? So this is being cherry picked from our main back to our release branch. And so there's some changes that are just too big and not isolated enough to be able to backport. And so those will also have to wait. But yeah, it's generally kind of always a quality consideration, and then also like a customer need consideration as well.
Yeah, and this was a big one yesterday. Let me zoom in here. We got, well, look at that super zoom. Wow. Message we're going to talk about today: steering
Yep.
and queuing, agent hooks,
Yep.
some new cloud compatibility stuff, and skills as slash commands. I'm going to show off a bunch of those things as well because I have it here. Of course, I'm going to roll insiders because I always do it. And I recorded a video yesterday and then I updated today, and then I was like, "Oh, the UI changed." I was like,
Sorry
shipping
about
it,
that.
shipping it, whatever. It's all happening now. I do want to tell people here as well. There's also a new Twitter account over
Yep.
here. It's called the VS Code changelog uh, at x.com/slash VS Code changelog. I'll put that in the chat as well. Oh, look, I'm cooking right now too. Wow, that's great. Um, so, just joined, as well recently, and it's all the updates. So this is, a big automation stream set up here. So you can see already, if you wanna get the updates, Pierce, before they're even on the website, like, I wanna point this out,
Yep.
before they've even landed here, I will be even faster because we work really close with Nick, who does like all the documentation, all this to release all this stuff. And this all pulls from the open source repo, and then the open
Yep.
source repo gets built, and then it gets deployed to the website. So like, if there's a timing thing where like this will like basically go faster. Than,
Love that.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, because literally we're moving so fast, like for things like the release automation, I know the same is true for Copilot CLI. We're having to build all this AI automation because it's like impractical for a human at the speed at which we're moving to be able to every single day look at all the merge PRs and manually hand author, artisanally craft some release notes. So if anything really crazy happens, there's a disclaimer that it is AI generated, but we do try to look at it to make sure there's nothing insane happening there. But it seems like it's working pretty well. Like I wish that I got more. It says in 5 more. I wish I got a little bit more detail there. But I think
Yeah.
it's looking pretty good overall. Like I'm really happy with this as a first attempt.
Oh, don't worry. I'm working on it right here.
You're literally cooking at the moment. I see an active Copilot session. Okay.
There's an active enhanced insiders tweet. It's probably with my prompts. Yeah, there you go. Critical. Your primary goal is to show more features. Show aim. Yes, it's like you really are. You are a VS Code release. Yeah, this is my huge prompt to. There you go. Oh yeah. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, that's great. Hopefully it improves. I'm really
I
excited.
need to show you my evals thing, and we can like build some evals for your tweet RSS thing, because I think that would be cool, because then you could actually test different prompts and see if they're better or worse.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I just YOLO and release it, and then it happens.
I mean, and it's the release notes thing. Like the worst that can happen is like we have a bad tweet out there. So I don't think it's like that dangerous to YOLO it.
The one thing that I do, which is fascinating, is so here's the fascinating part is like every single time you run it, it's actually going to be different. So I actually have a test endpoint where I can just test it. And sure enough, like it picks different things as much as humanly possible. So because I could run this again and maybe it would have 2, maybe it would have 3, maybe it would have 4, but it's trying to figure out what it's actually trying to do is highlight the most like important features. So what this is deemed is that there's only one important feature.
So I should be insulted if I merge something in and I don't see it here, because the AI has determined my feature wasn't important.
That's the new team goal. That's the new team goal. All right, I want to show something quick before you hop into these new features. I want to talk a little bit about the CLI and some of the new integrations into VS Code.
Let's do it.
So the first thing here is I have insiders. You're gonna have to tell me what's unstable and what's not unstable, but I'm pretty sure like some of these integrations are in insiders, and then like the CLI features are in the CLI itself. But this is the Visual Studio wallpaper website, so it's a website, and I've been having fun. I've just been converting it to different like programming languages. Like I made a React version, Blazor version. I'm gonna do like a Java, like I don't know, just kind of like every. I'm gonna have to reprogram it in every single programming language. But right now it's a Blazor app because I'm on the Blazor branch. But what I wanted to show off is a lot of people use, obviously the chat session here, but a lot of people are also hanging out and using the Copilot CLI. And often, Pierce, they're like this. Like this is what it looks like. You got a CLI here, and in fact, most of the time it just looks like it'll look like this, right? That's what they're dealing with. And maybe their terminal is better than mine. I'm not really a Mac person, I'm more of a Windows person, so I'm not on Windows terminal, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Wait, so what are you running here for terminal?
Terminal. If it's in the box, that's what I use, man. If it's in the box. Apple deems that this is the terminal, so it's the terminal. Windows terminal, it's in the box of default, so that's what I use. That's the default.
Got it. Okay.
But terminal, oh my posh, little oh my posh here. Like I don't even know how to make it bigger. Well, oh my posh. So you can see I'm on these things. All right, so if I do Copilot, it's going to boot up Copilot. Now, actually, I'm inside a terminal, but inside a PowerShell, inside of terminal. So that's my shell inside my terminal. Do you know those are 2 different things, a shell and terminal?
I did know that.
Yeah. Hanselman had to describe that to me because I don't understand how terminals and shells work. He's like, it's in the name, James, PowerShell. And I was like, oh, I see what they did there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my Copilot here. And if you want to get better, let's Copilot -- banner. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, that's the more proper way of working with it there. Okay. But I want to point this out. Look at this. You see this? Connected to Visual Studio Code Insiders.
Fancy.
What does that even mean? Well, it's a great question. I'm going to say /IDE. You're not going to have that by default. So like I turned it on. So /IDE. When you do /IDE in the terminal, I'm going to show you also how this kind of just works magically inside of VS Code. But it's going to say, hey, we'll automatically trust the folders. We will automatically have access to editor selection and diagnostics. And it'll also, most importantly, do a file change approvals with div tabs. This is my favorite feature. So you can turn it on, boom, it's good to go. Now, the one thing right away that you could do once it's connected, I could come over here and I could highlight like this for each loop or whatever on this wallpaper grid. I can right click, It's probably nearly impossible to see because it's like so small on the screen. But it says add file to Copilot CLI. That would be Shift Command dot, if I understand my Mac keyboard, or add selection to the Copilot CLI. Watch this. I did that, and then boom, it's in it. It's like connected. It's like magic. So that's pretty cool. Let's do something different. Let's add, oops, it's all caps. That was me. I'm just going to yell at it. Let's add cool pop-up cards for Scott Hanselman and James Montemagno on the bottom of the screen. Okay. So my GPT-5 codex is getting to work here. I'm really upset with it because I'm caps locked. And it's going to get to work thinking, right? So just normal kind of CLI mode. And like normally, you would just be hanging out here waiting for it to get to work. There we go. It's thinking, it's doing some stuff. And at the bottom of this page, basically, there's like a little footer that's like made by Scott and James in Copilot because the page is like really nice. So it's going to explore the layout and then it's going to get to work. So now we're just cooking. It's cooking. It's doing stuff. I'm on a medium over here. How do you feel about medium with codecs? How's your 5.3 codecs cooking going?
Good. I run medium or high most of the time, and that is configurable in both CLI and VS Code. Actually, Opus 4.6 and most of the Copilot integrations runs high because we saw in our evals that we got better results. Medium, I think for codecs as a default makes more sense because there's different task difficulties, and if you put high, your agent loop is going to take much longer, and that may not always be necessary. Because people think that like, oh, if I just set it to high, I always get better results. And that may be true on extreme difficulty problems, but most problems don't fall into that. And so you're just making your agent way longer for no reason on most of your inquiries.
I got 99 problems and none of them are so here's what happens. This is the normal kind of CLI view. So if you've been living and breathing in the CLI, now maybe you're like me and you just YOLO and you're just like, just do whatever, go to town. But if you like to look at code, which I like to do, this pops up. And this is, this is the thing. But if I just open up VS Code, what just happened? Look at this. So you can see it says Copilot CLI. I'll make this really big. Look how big that is. So big you can't even see it. Let's just drop that down. Boom. It says Copilot CLI main layout razor, right? So what it did is it's connected over here and it's showing me the diff right in line there. So that's really cool. So for example, if you just want to go and say, okay, let's cook. And now it went away, right? Because I approved that tool. Now you could approve all of them and it wouldn't obviously open up or do anything. But now it's going to implement the rest of the footer cards and it's going to get to work over here. So, and it will go through that for every single one. So we can see here's the addition. That looks good. There might be additions. There might be subtractions. It would show you that real inline diff inside of it. I think Damien on the .NET team. So it's already done. It's like, cool, let's build it. The footer is a pretty easy example. I probably didn't need 5.3 codecs to do that, but yeah, it's a 1x. So why not? Yeah.
Perk of the job here, unlimited premium request.
Unlimited. And there we go. So that was a nice little diff where it like showed it. So especially if you have big diffs, right? Maybe multi-files, things like that. Like it's going to show you all those in tabs as it opens up, which is like so nice to see. Especially if you have like an ultra wide like I do that's not in currently 1920 by 1080 mode. So like it's just huge black bars. You could be running these side by side and seeing them there, especially if you're just like, hey, I have like a bunch of different things. But inherently, like I'm not a CLI person like Scott is, right? Like that's like what he loves and breathes it. So some people might be saying like, well, James, like, why wouldn't you just like type that like over here, like into the sessions and things like that, right? And like you definitely could, and then you would see everything happening in real time. But different tools, different resources, and different sort of workflows that you may be done. Let's see if this worked. Let's .NET run this pup.
.NET run.
.NET run. .NET watch run. I'm gonna watch run. I'm not even gonna do that. So I'm gonna do this. And then you know what I really want? Feature request.
What?
Like when a URL shows up here, when I click it, don't open the browser, but open the integrated browser.
Yeah, I actually had this same request the other day.
That'd be cool.
Shout out to the integrated browser. That was new in the last major stable release.
Oh, look at this. I'm a wallpaper wizard.
What's Hanselman?
Hanselman is a community curator. So I got little cards there. And it's AI because it's little hover effects. I love that.
Always.
Hover on anything. Okay, so that's pretty cool. You get to see that. But Some people also work in the terminal directly here. So let's say I stop this pup. Actually, I just keep it running. Open another terminal, because why not? And let me just make this bigger. There's probably better ways of doing this. But let's say I'm down here, and let's just say I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to Copilot it here, right? Like open a Copilot inside of the terminal. Now, what's nice is that Copilot CLI knows that I'm already inside the terminal, inside of VS Code. It's detected it, and it automatically connects it, and it's automatically ready to roll, right?
Yep.
So let's say I was like, let's add a VS Code Insiders theme to the app. Boop. And then let it cook. So now this is going to go to town. This is probably going to ask me a bunch of questions, so that normal workflow. So now at this point, I could just open more terminals. I could come over here into the chat session. Maybe I want to do local. Maybe I want to do some planning, a bunch of stuff here. Like just different workflows. I might have some like super long running task. It could be over here. Maybe it's on a work stream. Maybe it's doing something. I'm just like, all right, go to town, right? And just do it. So again, it's going to be here and just ask me some questions. But ideally, it was showing this to me yesterday. Is it not here? Oh, local work tree. There it is. Oh, I forgot to point that. I had the filter on. Reset. Those sessions also show up right here, right? So here's the add bottom cards, right? Oh, it didn't show. Oh, I think I finished that section. Uh-oh. Let me go. Insiders. We're rolling insiders, people. Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. Bring it back. Oh, it's gone. My sessions are gone. Pierce, help me. Oh my gosh. All right. It was there.
Try a window reload.
I'm actively cooking. It's okay. We're gonna let it cook over here. Let's see here. So let's see. It's exploring. It's doing stuff. It's planning. And then what I wanted to show basically is you get this like a few things. You get this nice little like, hey, it's updating here, right? See it like updated the name automatically. That's cool. And you get the same experience. So here, for example, boom. And then you get the live diffing, all that stuff that you would expect. So, you can obviously, decide if you want 1, 2, 3, whatever, but it's going to go and start to do this thing. Oh, it's hot reloading in real time. That's kind of cool. All right, let's see if it will cook over here.
So let me show you my flow, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Right click on the implementing theme changes, like on that, and then move it into the editor area.
Oh.
And so now it's a tab, but then hold on. Close out make the terminal small.
Boop.
And now what you can actually do, if you drag that like to the right, like click on the editor tab, and drag it like kind of to the right, like you're trying to like in the editors, lower. There you go. Drop. Wow. And then you can open your browser on the left, right?
Oh.
So you're reclaiming a lot of visual space here if you do this.
Wow. Okay.
And you could actually like say you wanted to cook 5 Copilot CLIs at once. When you move it into the editor, you can use the editor like grid layout system. And so you could like have a quad box of CLIs going at once.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah. So when I'm cooking on like 4 or 5 things at once, sometimes I like to do that. And I like actually having it all encapsulated in one window because, of course, you could have 4 Copilot CLI terminal processes going, but it's kind of a little messy visually to like tab between them and everything. So I kind of actually like having one window where they're all there and I can just click into that.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah. So we had a question here from Shah. So when you open the CLI directly inside of VS Code, it'll just automatically connect. It's also a command called /IDE, and that will allow you to connect directly to the workspace or disconnect from the workspace there too if you're just in standalone CLI. This is nice. And you can see it actually did integrate our VS Code theme. I need to actually add an icon. But besides that, it's ready to, ooh, that's really nice down there. That's kind of cool. I like that. Cool. So it did the whole thing. Now let's see if I have let me do a window reload. Let's see if that does it. Okay, there they are. Cool. So the other thing that I wanted to point out really quick is that these do show up inside your sessions, right? So you could, if you like this view, you can see it happen in real time. And sometimes it's nice about that. Is like, if I make that bigger, is the CLI is like flowing so fast. Sometimes I will actually just open up the chat And then I will like look, oh, what did it do? Oh, it read this, it searched it, it did some stuff, right? Because the CLI really compacts it, but you can see everything that the CLI was doing here in the tool calls and the
Yep.
descriptions and the patching, everything like that. So like that's really, really nice to have that like deeply integrated into it. You can have these side by side. Now, also, if you want, you can also come up here and you can also just say new CLI session. And I'm just going to
Oh,
spin up a bunch of CLIs. Let's see if that's going to work. Ooh, did it work?
it did. Yeah, you have 2 tabs.
Oh, okay. I got the 2 tabs. I don't know if it actually didn't. Maybe my Oh My Posh probably broke it.
Oh, I see what you
Hmm.
mean. It didn't auto
Yeah.
run Copilot.
Yeah. It should auto run Copilot. It did on my other machine. So I
It
blame
should. Let me try that.
I
Works
blame
for my
my,
machine.
I
Classic
blame,
developer.
blame my Zish. My Zish that's loading PowerShell because I don't understand how terminals work. So, um,
It works for me. So yeah, I'm
that's good.
blaming user error.
Yeah.
But we should probably file a bug for that.
Yeah. But it's probably me, but and it's like this delay. So we can show it on your machine as well. There, I didn't test that earlier, but you can have like as many of these as you want, right? And then the titles are update. So if you want, you can come down here and just like create a bunch of, terminals, launch it, do a thing, but it's all there for you as well. I guess you can do that and then open another one. That one, see.
So yours isn't working at all, which makes me think that, yeah, there's something we're not handling right about your config for your
Yeah.
shell.
It's a messy shell config. So I don't know how shell configs work. So I will
Yeah.
send my exact shell config to the team.
We have
So-
problems like that with the terminal tool sometimes too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the bane of my existence.
But you could just YOLO like this. This could be your new hub for
Yep.
look at everything happening here, and just go to
Well,
town.
and
There.
it's nice that you have like the sessions you can always come back to visually over here. And like if you're like me and you're using like multiple things at once, like just having a single view where all that data is streaming in is quite nice in my opinion.
Now, one thing I'll point out here too is like down here, there is like local. Sometimes you'll see background. You might see you might see CLI, you might see whatever the flavor of the team has decided today.
That's
And then
right.
you can see cloud. So work tree is interesting because this is going to use the GitHub Copilot CLI, but it's actually going to create a work tree. So if you actually wanted to run on like multiple tasks all in the same time, I'm sure the CLI has something built in as well.
Yep.
But like this is nice because you don't have to think about it. It just kind of does it and then sends it off to the thing here. Then you got agents. And then if I have local, check out this. I got a bunch of stuff in here, other agents. So you have a little bit, the same control, just different UI. And then obviously other agent harnesses as well that you might spin up on as well. So kind of point that out, you have these options. I think one thing that I wanted to kind of show off here really is like, it's about, developer choice, right? Like how you want to code, how you're feeling that day, but how these tools also like work together, right?
Yes.
In general. So, and I want to call out here, yes, Digital Drummer Boy Jay, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. Points out, yes, I could probably just ask Copilot to fix up my config. That's great. Yeah. I was talking to Jan of Oh My Posh, and he was like, "Oh, you should build an MCP server that helps you build Oh My Posh configurations." And I was like, "Cool, I'll do that." So then I just asked Copilot to do it, and it did it. So that was pretty fun.
I was about to say, didn't you tweet that out? I was like, I have vague recollection of seeing something on my feed about this.
Yeah, I have the Oh My Posh configurator 5000.
That's what I think I was. I see you went with the Xamarin naming on it, with the 5000 at the end.
Yeah, it's like Oh My Posh. There we go. Let's see. I'll bring up my screen again here. Boop 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 boop. There we go. There we go. Cool. So this is the Oh My Posh configurator, and then so I have it cooking right now over here in this tab, which is
I'm
like,
mad you were too scared to put 5000 in the slug for the repo name.
If you tap on it though, I didn't even put in the name. It should be.
Come
I just
on,
internally
man.
thought.
Come on, branding.
I know branding. All right. Well, let's see. Okay.
This is pretty cool though.
Update the name to be Oh My Posh configurator 5000. Who do I need? Sonnet, sure. Okay. Let's PR that. So this is nice because if you're like not like me, this is like the configurator, and you can see like a live preview of what it would look like in your terminal.
That is really cool.
And then you have all of the different segments. So if you're like, oh, I want the battery here, that would show up there. And then you can tap on it, and then you can change the colors, and you have a whole color palette selection thing here.
That's really nice.
Different dividers. If you're like, oh, I want like a diamond or accordion or like however you want. So it does its best representation, right, to do it.
Yep.
And you can pick like the font that, or the nerd font, different cache settings. It's really complex. But you also have a theme library. So you can save your own, but you can also just be like, my favorite's all segments. So here's every, if you want every segment, here's what it would kind of look like. No, not all of them show like all the time, but you know, a good example would be if you're just like, hey, I want, you know, Apple Music. I think it's just YouTube Music, maybe Spotify. Then here's like, you know, Spotify would show up in there, and then you could modify the color and the different colors that you have. There's like different foreground, background things that are in here that are specified. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I want that to be hex value and make that, I don't know, whatever, right? So it all works. It's all magic. But you can add your own. So like here's Kayla's theme, which I stole basically. So this is, I just steal Kayla's theme because it's great. And there's even a Copilot one too. So there's like a CLI, and there's a GitHub Copilot one in here as well. So you can just add that, and then it will show you how many premium requests you have left, which is pretty cool. So soon there'll be an MCP server, so you can just like go ahead and like say, oh, update my My Posh to blah 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 blah, and it'll like grab and understand
That'll be
everything
really
that you
cool.
want. Yeah, like, hey, like I'm in this project, like, you know, blah blah blah, or add caching or do this thing, you know. So I try to make it like you could do these different things. There's official themes too. So this is nice because on the My Posh website, there's like hand curated, you know,
Yep.
themes from actual people that know things. And so you can like go and tap it, and then like,
configurator 5000.
yeah, you can go and visualize it, right? And it's not perfect. It's not a one-to-one because I'm not like running. This isn't like a terminal window. It's like a preview, right? So it's trying its best to do the thing, but you can have like extra block. That's crazy. This is like a one-day hack project that turned into a week, and yeah, so cool. So, anyways, that's what I've been cooking. All right, what are you cooking, man?
My screen.
Right.
Yeah, I guess like just to close out on the CLI and VS Code topic, if you have like a wish list of things, like please send it to James or me or Evan or Pung or anybody on the VS Code or CLI team. We've made a lot of improvements as James showed off, but there's still more to do. Sharing my screen, which is why I feel like that's a universal like trailing off, like when you're like trying to find the shared. Oh, James, you're gonna be really bad at me.
Uh-oh. You got to reboot?
No, we're good. We're safe. We're safe. I was really worried I was going to have to reboot, but we're saved.
Okay.
All right, let me know when you can see. We're good.
Okay, bringing it up. Boop.
Bringing it up.
You're live. It's live. It's happening, people.
Okay, so what do I want to show off? I think I'm going to show off hooks. So we'll talk a little about steering and queuing as well. How about that? Some of the new things in the stable release.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so what are hooks? So I think we've all kind of had something where we're trying to get the agent to do something at a specific point in the agent lifecycle, whether at the beginning or end of the session or somewhere like after you do this. And sure, you can try and prompt the agent to do this, but it's very difficult often to get 100% success rate with prompting of like, I always want you to do this at the end of your turn. End of turn and start of turn is actually easier, but like say it's like after every edit, I want you to do this thing, right? It's kind of hard to get the agent to do what you want. And so hooks kind of solve this problem. So basically they allow you, aptly named, to hook into different parts of the agent lifecycle. And so there's a different config. I'll kind of show that off in a minute. But essentially you can pick like what you want to hook into, like what lifecycle event, and then you have something you can do when that lifecycle event is hit. Right. And so kind of like describing this, by the way, you can, this MCP server for Excal Draw is amazing. I recommend it.
Oh, cool.
Well, because people always ask like, how does X work in VS Code? Right. Yeah. And the cool thing about being open source, both VS Code and VS Code Copilot Chat, is you can literally just open up the repo and be like, I don't understand how this works. Like, please tell me. And of course it would do that before this, but now with this MCP server, like this is an MCP app, so it can render like rich information in the window. So here, this is actually using the new MCP apps integration. Anyways, so yeah, what is actually happening? So like, say I enter a prompt, then basically we have this run start hooks that's going to happen. So it's going to see like, do you have any start hooks that you've said? So at the beginning of a turn, I want you to do this sort of thing. Whether that's the overall agent, so like I just said hi, and it's, you know, the first thing is happening, or you're using sub agents, so you can hook into either one. So say in your sub agent, you want it to be explicit about loading some context or doing something like that. You can hook in it that way. Then the hook executes, which in many cases is just a shell script. There's also the tool calling loop. So basically, as the agent runs, all it's doing is passing back a prompt with some tools and saying, based off of this prompt and tools, what do you do next? You can call a tool, you can return markdown. And so that's how the agent works. And so the hooks integration basically hooks into that and says, okay, when do I need to actually run certain things? So after certain edit tools or things like that, or when the agent actually stops. Okay, when it stops, again, run the hooks that are relevant for that thing. So let's try and make this a little bit more concrete. So I built a little VS Code extension that will. Did I just mess that up? We'll see. This is the problem with having 10 editors open at once, James. It's likely I've entered some characters that I should not have entered. So I built this little VS Code extension, Peon Ping. So for those in the chat who have ever played like Warcraft or World of Warcraft, you know, the little peons that like have the little sayings. And so, I mean, this is a fun example, but like basically you run this extension and it will add in these hooks. So here, let me look. So you can see, here's some different hooks I've defined. They're in GitHub hooks. So like all of my customizations are in this GitHub directory. And you can see the hooks I define here. So on session start, I want you to run this. On user prompt submit, run this. On tool use, run this. And so I can kind of define different, you know, lifecycle events here that I actually want to happen. And then what I want to do when that actually happens. So right now, this is mostly like, you know, running a process, whether that's like a shell script or like in this case, it's running some JavaScript. But in the future, like something that we're exploring is imagine if this thing could also hook back into VS Code.
Ah, that'd be cool.
Right? Like, say you're like, I want to create a plan for this new feature, and then I want you to create 4 chats that actually solve this. Oh. You can imagine actually having a hook that then can use the new chat thing, populate the input box, kick off all the commands. Then when it's done, take all the outputs, throw it back into the main chat. So you could do some really, really cool stuff once we start wiring it up to VS Code commands. But as of right now, it's still really powerful. And so let me go ahead and just like test this. This is how you know that I've been doing some testing, by the way. Look at this session history.
I don't know if
you inquiry.
You saw mine earlier. It was like add footer, add footer, add footer, add footer.
Yeah.
Come on, hit so archive, James.
Also, tips. This is a new thing.
Tip of the week.
Tip of the week. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if I shared my system audio, so we'll see if it. Oh, I think I actually did mess it up. Let's see.
I think you just have like an extra slash in there.
Yeah, I think I did. You know what I'm actually just going to do is I'm just going to run my thing, which will reset the state anyways. Okay, trying again. Let's do new chat. How many tokens have been burned by me saying hello?
Ready to work.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
You hear that?
Good. I heard it.
Okay, so this is just a silly one.
I want a StarCraft one. It's like fire it up.
Yeah, I mean, this is a silly one, but it kind of shows a lot of the things you can do. I won't take credit for this. Someone else had already built the hook, and I just made a little VS Code extension to bootstrap a repo with it. But I'll show like a more serious example now. So let's go over to my coloring book app. Always a classic, the coloring book app, James.
It's a great app. I mean, one, it's personal because Pierce built this for him and his family.
Yep.
And look, it's you and the kids. It's cute. And it's kind of, you know, and it's personal because it's like a thing that I love apps that someone was asking. I was getting my haircut yesterday and they're, oh, what do you build? And I was like, I build stuff for me. They're like, oh, like what? I was like, well, here's a weight tracking app. Like, here's this app. Here's that. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, like I have a problem. I build it for me because I want it, even if it exists. So I can kind of like own the flow. So it's cool. And this evolved a lot since we saw it on Let It Cook like a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, I have an iPad app now for this,
Wow.
for like road trips. I'm going on a vacation soon. We try not to put the iPad too much in front of the kids, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And rather than watching, brain rot TV, it'd be fun if he could color like real photos of our family. So I took this is a Next.js app, but I ported it recently with GPT 5.3 codecs to iOS, and like
nice.
30 minutes. So that was fun.
As one does.
As you do these days. I think you're right though. Like this is really like the golden age of personal software. Like it's always been kind of a meme that us as developers would like automate things that like take 5 minutes and it would take us a week. But like now it's like you can actually just build things. Right? I mean, it's like a meme, but you really can just do things and build things. And I have so many of these personal things, and like you're whipping up your My Posh configurator. You have all the CLI automation you built, the VS Code automation you built. Like we are like really building a lot of stuff. It's very rare that I don't have at least 1 or 2 agents running at once. I had to kill some before the stream because I didn't want them to mess the stream up. But like almost always have like 3 or 4 running.
I was telling someone the other day, it's like here, for example, like where if I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if you change this or change that, you could just do it in real time. In fact, I was doing a podcast with Frank recently, and we were talking about this Switch website that I built. And he was like, oh, it'd be great if you did this, to do this, to this. And like literally as he was telling me his feature request, I was implementing it in real time. And I was like, cool, it's live. And he's like, what? And I was like, you just told me what you wanted to change. And I just had it change it. And I just did it. Just push it to prod. So anyways, I digress.
Okay, so coloring book app. So what was I going to show? Hooks. So we just saw a fun one, but let me show you like a real kind of one that I have for my project. So
make it bigger.
Yep. As one does, and as one says, commits are free, James. People forget it all the time. You don't have to pay for your commits. They're free.
They're free.
I will never for the life of me understand why people don't commit more. You can use branches. In this case, I'm in main. So I will take that note that I shouldn't be pushing straight to main and I should have branch configurations on, so I can't do that. But like, you really should just be committing all the time. There's no reason. If anything goes wrong, you can roll back. All of your state is saved. So I used to have a custom instruction that I would always, this is a little distracting. I want to close that out. I used to have a custom instruction that I would run that was basically like, at the end of the turn, I want you to basically auto commit, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there is the like keep and undo and all that stuff in the timeline view in VS Code down here, which has saved me a million times. But like, it's better in my opinion, because commits are free, to just always commit. So I have this stop hook. So this runs when the agent turn actually stops, as it's aptly named. And then it runs this shell script, which is just basically committing with a timestamp. The one thing that's not great about this implementation, I will say, is the nice thing about the Copilot instruction is because it's running actually within the agent loop itself, you can have the agent like generate the commit message. So this one's a little less good. I'm gonna throw the iPad over there. I wanted to show the iPad up.
You could use the Copilot SDK probably to actually generate and say, look at the commit messages and put it in here, and that'd be wild.
Or like, I actually don't think you can do this now, but like it'd be cool if you could have the AI generate like parameters and pass them into the hooks, right?
Ooh.
Like input parameters for the hooks. I actually don't. That might be possible. I'm not sure, but that would be cool, because then you could basically say like, you can imagine like parameter commit message, and then like that agent would pre-fill it when it starts the hook, right?
That'd be cool.
Anyway, so pretty simple. This was a totally vibe-coded implementation for this shell script, because like James, I really don't want to be dealing with shell scripts generally. That's not the level of abstraction I want to be working in. But let's go ahead and test this out. So also new things in VS Code, you see like I have the more session information up here right next to the chat icon. This is not the default, but there is a setting you can click in here and like say like do things, and it can send messages. I can query past sessions. It's pretty neat.
That's cool.
So where was I? Over here. Okay, it was just telling me it started the iPad thing. Let's go ahead and test this out. So I'm gonna get my output window up here. Output. There we go. So if you're ever debugging these things, when you're authoring them and you want to make sure they work, you can go to this GitHub Copilot chat hooks option.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to go ahead and clear it. And let's just do something simple like make their README say, I love James Montemagno. It's Valentine's.
It's true. It's happening.
Okay, so
great commit.
Great commit. Commits are free. Maybe not the tokens used to generate this demo, but the commit is free.
We can see
okay.
we can see the context of how much this took, so that'd be perfect.
Yeah. So let's actually, I'm gonna pop open the SCM view and also this. And okay, so we have a change, and the push failed. Why? Okay, it just succeeded. Let's sync changes. Now remove that. And I'm gonna clear this again. I never know what's going on with my Git config. I have 3 different Git identities on this machine. I have my personal GitHub account, I have my work GitHub account, and I have my work EMU GitHub account. And so I always have all kinds of issues. Okay, so this one worked. So it said, okay, I got a hook. We have a stop hook, and then this is actually just outputting from the hook. So it's saying, okay, I ran auto commit, 1 file changed. We had 2 deletions. Sorry, James, for deleting you. And changes were pushed successfully. So pretty straightforward. And then, of course, I can come down here to the graph. You can see like the auto commit was kicking in right here. So this is actually pretty simple, but I think these things are really powerful. So there's already some really cool ideas that people have been throwing out. So like examples would be, like Oren had a fun one for like open telemetry. So he's like, I want to, like at where he works, he wants to be like, I want to know like what prompts people are sending and stuff like that. And you can imagine like wiring up open telemetry to the agent lifecycle and things like that. So there's all kinds of cool examples people have done in the community already, but I'm really excited we have hooks integration now. Any other questions on hooks before I show off queuing and steering, James?
I don't think so. Yeah, there's a great documentation I'll link to, a bunch of examples like, oh, you could like run prettier, you could like do a validation tool, like you could run security checks, right? You could do all these different things inside of it. So definitely check out the actual documentation on it. It's super powerful. I'd love to see a hooks like hooks marketplace basically. So
yeah,
that'd be pretty neat to
agreed.
see. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna jump back over to my coloring book app. I was trying to get a diagram created for you guys. Wanted to show off the iPad app. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna log in over here. All right.
Yeah, you log in to color. Come on, man. Can I get one for free guest account?
You can. Okay, here we are. We're back. Yes, I do want to save the password. Okay, so this is the iPad app. I made a little bit of a kid mode because my son does this thing, like all the kids apps have this, where they're like, just like, it's kind of a little scary how good they are at using the iPad. So you need to like lock them in so they can't go do anything else. So like here I can come in, I can color, super fun. I can swap between the pages. And then to exit, you have to enter the code. And you know I have the most complex code, 1, 2, 3, 4, naturally. Anyways, that's the iOS app. Let's see if we got our... Okay, the Excalibur drawing isn't exactly what I wanted here. So I'll just demo it live. We'll do it live. So queuing and steering. So James, if you're like me, you try to craft a beautiful prompt, but often it just doesn't work, right? You know, maybe the model's not understanding exactly what you want. Maybe you just wrote a bad prompt. Not trying to blame anybody here. I'll blame myself. But a lot of times, like the agent starts working and you're like, oh man, I really wish I had also said this, because you can tell it's like reading a certain files and you're like, no, not that one. I want you to do this other one instead. And so like, I'm going to try to come up with like a scenario here. Let's compress the UI so I can actually see my images above the fold. And go ahead and attach like what I see here, because I can't see any images. And I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And now I'm realizing I also have an iOS app in this project, right? And so I want to say in the web app. And so I can hit enter, or I can steer. And so what steering basically does is, rather than waiting for the entire agent to finish what it's doing and then send a message, it actually, you notice it sent it at the next available point, which in this case was right here, right after, you know, the reasoning text came in. And this is really powerful because basically we're injecting it at the next tool calling point. So going back to what I said earlier, the agent's just a loop, right? And it's calling tools. And steering is basically saying whenever whatever is currently happening is done, whether that's writing text or calling a tool like reading a file or editing a file, send this message, right? So it won't interrupt literally exactly what it's doing, but the next moment that it gets, it will interrupt. So this thing could potentially have run for another 5 minutes and done the wrong thing, right?
Yeah.
But with the steering message, I can go ahead and interject to make sure it's doing the right thing. Chat debug view. Let's see if I can roll down here and see where that actually happened. So here's my initial message where I said, okay, let's actually implement this app. All my instructions are attached right there, which is why it's a little messy. Okay, let's compress the UI. And then it started doing stuff. So you can see I'm starting to get some tool calls. It's reading some files. I had some text back. And then if I come back down here, you can see that it's just basically appending my my request. I said in the web app, and that's tagged user request, right after that read call. And so then it's just going and doing what it was doing with this new context. And so that's all that's happening when steering is going on. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You're steering the agent while it's working. Any questions, James, on steering?
Well, so when you're in there, so it's still working, like bring up the options again. So if you start typing something. Okay, so here you have just the main one, but bring up the little toggle again, the little chev. So there's stop and send, add to queue, and then steer with message. So like basically they're kind of what it says, but stop and send is like just immediately stop what you're doing, right? Like stop it if you've gone too far, like reset, right? And it's kind of manually as if you hit stop, enter a message, go. Then there's the steer with message, which is what you did. I think that's enter is the default, right? So like that will
I could
automatically
have just hit enter, but I actually wanted to show off the chevron, so I clicked it. You can also change that default. So you could say, actually, I want enter to be queuing. I think for me, actually, I think I will change that because I'm queuing messages much more frequently than I'm steering. So I think that personally for me will probably be my default. Let us know what you would like to see as the default as you use this more, but that is a user configurable setting for like what behavior you want on enter.
That's cool because the add to queue then is basically a queue, right? So it's like as soon as it's done, then do the next thing. So finisher, and I use queuing all the time. I remember I was recording a video like with my team of like here's how I code, and like basically it was like I am already written the next prompt while it's still cooking, right? I'm just waiting to hit send, right? So there's that. Here's a good one from Arath. Does the steering cost is it any additional premium request? How does that work?
It is an additional premium request. So it's anything in Copilot that is a user-initiated request. So a prompt is charged at a premium request. And obviously, like it would be better, like as a user, like it's great if you never had to pay for that. But I think it's basically what you would do anyways, right? You would have to correct the agent, and it's saving you time. And to be honest, like it is a pretty big abuse vector if we didn't do that. Like you could, in theory, just infinitely steer the agent to keep doing more and more tasks to never stop, right? So there's like some abuse, protection in there by charging a premium request for that. Okay, maybe I'll show the queuing because I also use it quite frequently.
Okay.
So this is better. It's more condensed. I don't know why that green bubble is there. So let's go ahead and better. Can we make it more condensed? And then I'm also noticing green bubble, get rid of it. Right here. And so this one, because my default isn't queuing, I'll click that. So I have a queued message here. And then let's find something else fun to do. James, give me another suggestion.
Yeah, and then maybe, do you have favorites? Can you add like favorites to the
that's what this
application?
heart thing is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
maybe, is there a filter button to only see favorites? Or show all, maybe,
add filter to only show favorites as well. So you can see they're all just kind of lined up here. You can drag and drop, right? So I'm actually going to say, boom, put that there. And these are all my queued messages. And so now I can just like leave my keyboard and those next prompts are all going to run, right? Whenever this one actually totally finishes, the technical term is like the agent will literally send a stop message saying, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like this turn is over. When we get that, that is when typically the turn of your conversation would end. It'd say I'm done. It'd do a summary like this, right? And then it would start the next request. So now we're starting on the made with love one. It looks like. The difference again with steering and queuing is steering is just going to immediately next opportunity gets throw it in there, right? Whereas queuing is waiting for it to finish its current task. So in theory, could I have steered with all those messages and just had it done all that in one turn? Yes,
Maybe.
But from a agent quality and output standpoint, the more things you ask the agent to do in a turn as a conversation, the more likely it is to not do what you want. So it's actually better to send those as separate messages, actually.
Yeah, I've noticed.
You're basically telling it in one turn to do one thing, which is ideal.
Yeah, I've noticed that I've accidentally steered when I meant to queue, and then it'll be like, oh, cool, I'll go do that, and then I'll go back to finish the thing that I was starting. But actually, I was like, no, it's like a dependency, or
Yep.
like it'll try to, it'll take a little bit longer than what I wanted as well. So someone says, can you steer it when it's waiting for approval to run a terminal command? Maybe the command isn't quite right. I mean, yeah, I think you would just probably steer it, or you probably wouldn't steer it if the command's not right. You would probably stop it and send it immediately.
Yeah. Oh, there's my Maybe with love.
Nice.
Yeah. So you could do that. You can also just basically tell Copilot in the terminal, in chat, I don't want to run this command. You can skip it, and then that sometimes works because Copilot just basically knows you skipped it, and it doesn't know why you skipped it, right? And so that's where if you think it might be confusing, you could send another message, or you could just skip it and see if Copilot figures it out and not burn the premium request trying to steer it. That's up to you if you think your time is worth that or not. I also noticed a visual bug. You see how the queuing text is the gray text, and then I noticed when I sent this, look, this is all in gray as well. So we need to fix that. All right, let's see. We got rid of, so that was great. In that one thing, I went, and by the way, as a manager, I do this all the time. I know it's probably the same for you, James. You're you have 2 minutes in between calls, and you're on the manager schedule, and you're I just need to I have 10 things. I just need to fire them off. And I will come back after I'm done and make sure it actually did what I wanted.
Exactly. Yeah.
This looks pretty good. I think I'm getting a little too, this is the amount of toggles and buttons I really need to revisit what I'm doing here. Of course, I favorited all the images, so the toggle doesn't work. But this is looking much better in my opinion. And by the way, no changes. Why?
Wow.
That's stop hook.
Hooks. Wow. Stop hook. Done.
Yep.
Magical. That's cool. And these are just some of the features. There's a whole bunch of new things that land every single day. So definitely check out the logs, see what's happening on the updates. I'll take down your screen. Boop. Now that we're basically at our hour point. Pierce is awesome. I think it's so cool to see not just all the great enhancements and everything that shipped. Now that stuff's stable. Funnily enough, I showed some insider stuff, but you showed everything. It's that stuff's available in stable today. So when you update just your blue VS Code, boom, you're good to go. If you're like us, rolling insiders every single day. It was great. I did wake up this morning. I was like, oh, there's an update. Oh, amazing. Oh,
always, sometimes multiple times a day.
You got to. It's but so I think the velocity of the ship is always moving. And I'll also point out, you can't really see it. We shouldn't had you. We should have launched it fresh, because there is the new update download thing in the bottom as well.
Yes.
Is there a progress bar now? Did I see that in a release note?
Maybe question mark. I have updated to today, but I skipped that. But yes, if there's a pending update, we'll actually show that in the bottom, and then in the status bar. And then we're working on basically being able to tell you what's in that new version. So the same automation that you're using for website and notes, right? Imagine if it's oh, you should update because today's version actually has these 3 things. So that's kind of where we're going with that. But yeah, lots of new stuff, plenty to try out, both in insiders and in stable. There's a lot of things we didn't talk about that are in insiders that I'm excited about. But we're going to try to be better with this weekly. I'm actually off today, and I came in because I care so much about cooking with James and all of our community. So we're going to try to be more regular. It had been kind of a regular thing, and then you know how life is. But we're going to try to keep it a regular thing.
Well, I also want to point out really quick, talking about regular things, we won't do one next week because, people, there is going to be the VS Code Live Agent Sessions Day next Thursday. Let me go and bring that puppy up over here. Let me share my Let me pull my StreamYard over here, boop, and then pull this up, boop. I'll put a link to that. It's the Agent Sessions Day. It's the yearly sort of like a big
Yep.
VS Code conf. Basically, that's what I'm going to call it
Yep.
here. And you can see it here on YouTube. There's already 100 people waiting. They're just sitting there waiting for a whole
They
week
got the
next
tab
week.
ready to go.
They're ready to go. Be ready to go there. So check that out. I'll put a link. Or you just go to the release notes. You'll find it. Just Agent Sessions. You're here on YouTube anyways. Just go and find it. There's gonna be tons of stuff happening. So with the team, with the engineers, with the PM. So definitely like check that out. Super excited for that. It's gonna be so many new goodies. And that's only a week away. So we won't be cooking next week because I'll also be out of the country. So that will also be a little bit hard for me to stream. But you got Agent Sessions Day coming up, and then we'll be back in a few weeks talking about all the new stuff that is shipped to insiders and stable as well. Pierce, thanks for taking time on your day off. Have an amazing long weekend here in the States. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you.
I love
Bye-bye.
you. See
Happy
ya.
coding.